Do a video on or a review of a set of headphones I've had for some time. Um, these are Monoprice 1060, I think it was. And this is one of the first nice headphones I ever bought. And I say nice in that I'm referring to nice sounding. I dislike the the build. Although, you know what, I don't so much have a problem with the build quality, although I don't think it'll hold up over time. I really just like this big frame that sits on your head when you're listening to these headphones. Whatever, right? I also think you're going to get into trouble here. I doubt that they've got a proper bushing in there, and I think it's going to wear over time. It hasn't yet. You also, where it adjusts, you may get into problems there, but you know what? I've had no problems. I know some people have had the band pop out. Well, it's not such a big deal. There's two screws here that hold it in place. So, I mean, if it was to pop out on you, it's easily popped back in. You just need a micro screwdriver and tighten it back up. But again, I've had no problem. So these are a big open back planer. And they're a little floppy, right? Because of the way they're made. Like, you know, you can do whatever with them, right? I'm not so fond of that. I mean, there are no stops on them anywhere, right? You can just keep going. So it would have been nice if they'd have built some stops in. I thought at one point I might have been getting some play in here, but again, there is a screw under there. So everything, I mean, if that works a little loose, you can tighten it up, but it hasn't. And if it did, you know, just tighten it up, put something on the threads, you know, some Loctite or some, even some silicone sealant or something to keep it from moving around and slipping out. These are big planars, in them. And look, we're talking price point here. These sound fantastic for the price point. Now, I did a couple of things when I got these. I pulled the screen off and there was a foam pad in there, and I took it out to see if it made them sound a little more open. I think it did. Not appreciably, but you know, whether you do that or not, it doesn't matter. I've thought about actually putting them back in, just to keep the dust out, but it doesn't bother me. You know, I guess I could take a marker if I wanted to and color the white wire and the white label so that I didn't have to see that. But I you know, whatever, that doesn't bother me. One thing I did, which made a big difference to them. Well, I did one other thing I'm going to talk about first, was when I got them, I took this off and I took a Q-tip with beeswax. You could use olive oil, you could use whatever you want, and I rubbed the inside of this wood ring is raw, and if you live in a dry environment, or places where there are big cycles in the humidity, this is raw on the inside, and it will, I would hazard a guess that it would likely crack if you don't seal it. So when I pulled this off, I took a Q-tip and I coated the inside of this with beeswax. Whether you do that, whether you use olive oil, whether you use tung oil, whatever, it doesn't matter. But it's worthwhile if you're planning on keeping these to coat that. And they are, you know, they're a good sounding headphone. They are a good sounding headphone. You know, they're not quite as odd as these LCD2s, but they're damn close for a third of the price. So one thing I did, I should tell you, is these are not the pads they came with. So what happened was I ordered a set of pads for my LCD2s. So these are my LCD2s. And I ordered a set of pads for them. Notice how they have stops. So that's the extent that they'll swivel to. That's the one difference between these and these, and a little bit of sound and quite a bit of price. So what I did is these are not the original pads on the LCDs. These are, I think they're Duconi. I can't remember where I got them. I think they're Duconi. So I ordered a set of these for them, and these are fenestrated sheepskin. and they're memory foam, and they're really nice. Worthwhile upgrade if you have a set of those. So what I did was, when I replaced the pads on the LCD2s, I carefully took off the old one, and I kept the tape. It's just these are glued on, and I kept the tape intact on them. And so these are the pads that came with my LCD2Cs, LCD2 Classics. So look, they're not fenestrated sheepskin, but they're memory foam, and they are lambskin, and they're nice pads. I mean, while I enjoyed upgrading the ones on my LCD2s, it effectively allowed me to upgrade the pads on both these headphones, and that made I can't recall what was originally on this. I think it was it wasn't real leather, so we'll call it vegan leather if that's the buzzword we want to use. And it was the sound was great in them, but it's better. It's better with these. Whether what I think it is these have a little bit of a dampening effect because it's memory foam, and it's just so much plusher. The other ones were vegan leather, vinyl, and not memory foam, and not as soft and not as comfy, and probably didn't dampen things in the ear cup as well. So this was a worthwhile upgrade, very worthwhile upgrade on them. The sound signature on these is fantastic. It's big, it's open, they sound great. Sound great right out of the box. They sound a whole lot better with these pads on them. So, and I had heard other things that when these initially came out, everybody was ordering the Odyssey pads, and Odyssey wouldn't sell the pads anymore. Apparently, I don't know whether that's true or urban myth, but so they wouldn't sell Odyssey pads unless you could show them that you owned Odyssey headphones, which I do, so I could have ordered them that way. But I think the pads I put on my Odysseys were Daconis, and they're nice. They are nice. And so I could have done the same thing for this. I could have put on a set of Daconis, but the difference between the fenestrated and these is minimal, and I already had these. So on I hate to call a pair of headphones like this budget headphones. I think that's insane. And I think the whole headphone world is insane. But I'm participating in it. So at any rate, if you're thinking about a big open set of cans, planars, and you're thinking about these, they're a no-brainer. They really are a no-brainer. They sound fantastic. There were two versions out. There was version 1 with MMCX, and then there was version 2 with 2.5. So these are simply a straight 2.5 plug, and I love that. Right? There's no better way to simply connect your headphones on than something like that. I mean, all this other stuff drives me insane. Anyway, so you can get these anywhere on Amazon. You know where you can find these sometimes that I've seen is actually on Monoprice's website. They'll occasionally have clearance and open box sets, and they could be at a pretty good discount. And I think they're out of California. I bought these on Amazon, so I bought them out of, I'm in Canada, so I bought them off Amazon CA, so I wouldn't have to worry about taxes or anything else. But these are a nice sounding headphone. Again, when you've got these sitting on your head and you got this big frame over your head, I don't find that all that attractive. But, so I wish there was, if these ever break and fail, I think I'll hook up a nicer round band to them than what they've got. Something, less Frankensteinish, because that looks like a Frankenstein headband. But they're definitely a worthy sounding headphone. They're big, they're open, They got a wide sound stage. They got, you know, pretty balanced signature. And you know, if you like open planers, big open planers, this is what this is a big open planer, and it is a nice sounding can. And they're not hard to drive, at all. You know, if I'll give you an example. A lot of headphones will run fairly high on the frame. Oh, I got stuff on right now. So, I mean, you're listening to that outside of these are pushed together, right? You wouldn't want to have your head in there when you hit about 3/4 on that headphone amp, which will drive almost anything. But these are not hard to drive, and they sound great. And I enjoy them. I wouldn't give them up. They sound, you know, like something 3 times the price. That's my opinion. Anyway, that's that. Monoprice 1060s. Monoprice Monolith 1060s. I think Monolith Monoprice or something. I forget which one goes first. But they're by.